Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show. I am your host, the big guy, Ryback. Happy Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me for another live edition of the Ryback Show, the People's Podcast. We are live on TikTok at Feed Me More Nutrition today, guys. We're going to talk about that here when Shawnee calls in about what's going on. We get the Ryback account back today to go live. We are live on Ryback TV here on YouTube. Super chats are greatly appreciated and will be brought up throughout the show on here. X Spaces at Ryback, though, guys, is the place to call in, request to call in to be a part of the Ryback Show each and every week, 9 a.m. Pacific time. We go live every Saturday, guys, here. So join us and come have a good time. Ask the hard questions, and they'll see if we give you some straight up answers. Got a history of doing it. We're going to try to keep that going with everything. This show is available on all podcast platforms as well, guys. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. If you've got a moment to go to iTunes, it really helps us out over there and leave a review. This podcast is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial sweeteners or colors for men and women, guys. Vegan-friendly formulas, 13 different products. Feedmemore.com, hashtag hungry. Save 20%, discount code YouTube20, YouTube20, or TikTok20, and get a free tub of our Pumplex City non-stimulant pump formula pre-workout, a $44.99 value, yours free, guys. Feedmemore.com. All Ryback merch available over there as well. All righty then, guys. Yes, Dalton Jackson goes, is this pre-taped? Dalton, it is. And I am AI. I'm from the future, and I have the ability to actually predict the questions that are going to be asked here. While we say it is live, it is not. This is pre-recorded much in advance with all of that. Jeez, what would I be doing a live show? Give me a live mic. Botch. All right. We've got a few people in here today. We've got the big Shawnee in the house. Let's get Shawnee on to kick off this week's show to catch up, see what's going on. Pro wrestling news, current events. Get some UFC tonight. I'm pumped for that. Go Diamond, Dustin Poirier. Shawnee.
I am AI. I am AI.
Please list your demands.
I will take over the universe.
How much I always wonder what our government's like with the future, with how corrupt we all are. Like the killer robots are in the works. Like at some point there's just going to be like Chinese robots roaming our streets, and God forbid, God, hopefully not, hopefully ours roaming their streets. But
I always think back to first of all, what's up, big guy? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, buddy.
I always think back to the movie I, Robot, I think
it's
called, with Will Smith, I feel like they put out stuff to, like, same thing with the aliens. Like, all of a sudden now it's cool, like, for them to release stuff that they've had for years, and, like, they're, like, slowly giving it to us, right? Like, so that when it finally comes, we're, like, not freaking out about it,
Yeah. Bro, the aliens, the one that there was all over the news, that I don't know if it was a year ago, that supposedly aliens landed. They were in somebody's backyard. It was here in Vegas, like 12 minutes down the road from me.
Yes, the cops actually saw it too.
Yeah, like there was, and they're like trying to figure out it was 12 minutes, maybe even 10. Like it's literally just a straight shot west on the 215 from me. And like,
that is insane.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, if that was where the aliens, like, who knows?
Bro, they were trying to get Feed Me More Nutrition.
They had a little hiccup on the way here. Sophie and little guy would have some new buddies. Sophie would run right up. She doesn't have a fear in her body. She also doesn't know how to bite, but she would run up to anything. Like, I could just see her. I'd be outside, aliens just out in the back by the pool, and I'd have to like go screaming at Sophie to get the hell away. And then I get beamed up and go missing forever.
I just don't want to get probed. That's all I ask.
Yeah, who knows? They send me back. It's like, have you seen that movie Fire in the Sky?
Yeah,
bro. I just like wake up naked on the street somewhere. I'm like, oh no, what they do to me?
Oh man, that's funny. How's your week been, buddy?
Good week, man. Great week over here. We get I told everyone starting off the show, I'm on my app Feed Me More Nutrition account. It's the final hours before I am released from TikTok jail of being banned for live for 1 week. So we get the Ryback account back today at 1:05 Pacific time, and we'll be going live from that today finally. So did we lose
the backup? Oh shit! Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Even though I think you did pretty well for the backup account, it's just way better to have your real account, and people can find you.
The views were it's tough. I mean, we're getting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 views for 4 hours as opposed to 40, 50,000, 60,000. So
yeah, that's crazy.
It's not going to be the same. It's my Feed Me More Nutrition account. It's not. I've never gone live from it. So, but I mean, it was
so good. You get some traction on that account as well.
We've got the people with battle on there, most of them, and like every day I go live now. I'm just going to stream from both accounts to kick off and do like 1 or 2 warm-up games against myself to get people to pick up the backup so that I can because yesterday was the best day that I had on it of the week, and so that's a good sign that like being on it for 7 days and it built up and got the followers up on it, and so that if anything happens again in the future that that account's ready to go. But TikTok, I told you my manager got back. She was like, she agreed with me that I didn't do anything wrong to warrant a week ban. But for the people that were on there, it was a guy was in my chat. I was battling this girl, Galaxy, who we get along. She's very flirtatious if you've never seen the battles with her. And a guy in there kept telling me that I had no riz, and he wouldn't stop. But it wasn't like, it just like it was going on for like 3-4 minutes, and he just kept saying, "You have no riz, bro. You have no riz, bro." And like, so I just like I go, bro, I get more pee than you or any man in your entire family's existence has ever gotten. And I guess that was enough to saying the P word, but I didn't attack his looks or say anything but that was enough for the AI to trigger. And I should have just got right off the app, but I stayed on because I didn't think it was. I go, oh, it's just a warning. And then they gave me the week ban, and my manager couldn't get it overturned. And she was like trying to explain like the context of like, and that I like they thought I said it to the woman also that I was battling. So that was
the AI is still not like, it still has its flaws because it doesn't read how things are said. So like I've said things before and they've gotten me, but like I didn't say it in the context that the AI thought I said it.
Yeah, it doesn't have reasoning, like common sense or reasoning skills. And that's where it's like it's really dangerous. And it doesn't, like, sarcasm and context is very important, but like saying the P word on TikTok is, you might get like an age restriction on that, right? But like you can't if I call somebody the word, that's different. But I didn't call anybody the word. And that's where the thing, and like my manager goes, yeah, you should not have got this. But I just go, what am I going to do? It's just now she's like,
believe she actually responded to you.
Yeah,
I'm more impressed.
Well, Moon tell that our good friend Moon is good friends with her, and Moon was telling her how much she enjoys battling me, and didn't know that there were issues with us, and didn't know she was my manager, and that how nice I am. And then my manager was the one that actually, which she shouldn't have been even talked about me to her, but she was probably saying, "Oh, we have issues with it," and it's like, that's when Moon said that, and so Moon reached out to her, and then my manager has been way nicer to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, Moon's a good person for even doing that,
Moon is such a good person.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but I'll be quick about it. But Austin, he has 2v2s every night at Reset, and he battles these two other kids.
Yeah.
One of the kids is like a permanent person, and he gets a new partner every night. And he got this new partner named Wolf, and he's one of the biggest gifters on the app. So Austin knew that it was going to be a big battle. So he went around asking all the creators that he knows, hey, if you throw me a uni, like good things are going to happen to you. so and guess who was the first person to throw a uni? Moon. Moon was the first person
Really?
to throw it. Yeah, 15 people showed up for him. 15 different creators came and threw a uni.
Damn.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was like it was one of my favorite moments on TikTok, to be honest. But yeah, man. So
that's good, man. That's great.
It's a nice thing to see community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to see the community come together like that. It made me feel good. But
I always question the battles on there with the people though, like because I could see like when people have like or a falling out with like because a lot of people just have one big person.
yes,
It seems like. Whereas I feel like I'm very blessed to have a lot of people come in and out, but but they have a great person that win. But I'm like, it's like Mrs. G has this girl Melissa that's there and like just drops. I'm talking bombs all the time. Like
yes,
I'm like,
yes.
it's just very fascinating. And I just sit, I'm like, I go, I wonder like what happens when there's a falling out on that, or like what that person wants from that person. Because I told you we've had some couple weirdos where
Yes, with ulterior motives.
yeah, and I just said to just cut it off because I go, it's not about that. I don't need that. And this isn't by a friend or anything. And like now over time, as you get to know somebody, like Seltzer actually is like gotten to know over time, and he doesn't like harass me or just, but just he's just you can tell like he seems decent. Like with
He's
that
a normal human being.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And he's never asked me for anything or like weird things or like where and so the whereas others that's not the case, but other creators get caught up in that, and then it's like but then you're reliant on them for the games where
Yes.
yeah
That's happened, big guy.
happens
That's
all the
happened a
time,
lot.
right?
Yep. So they have one big gifter. So a lot of teams have one or two big gifters, and it's actually bad for their team because
Yeah.
what will happen is the other people won't play.
Yep.
They see the bigger gifters play, and they just sit back and watch.
I notice this all the time when that happens.
Yep.
And then but when if they're not there, teams play together, and you might not do quite as well as you would with the big. What you want is I like when big people come in for like 2 or 3 games, and then they kind of dip, and then the team comes back, and then another person kind of comes in, and if you can kind of keep up a steady flow, but if you just have one person, as good as it is, but what happens is it kind of can cut off. You want it kind of like an ebb and flow of a guy come in or per couple people come in, and then you've got like 8 or 9 people that are kind of or 5 people playing on the other games when they're gone, and then somebody else comes in and kind of keeps that momentum going. Whereas if it's just one, like everyone just sits back and they're like, "Well, you're doing fine," and then so I'm glad you said that. I noticed that a lot too when that happens.
Yeah, and then those teams fall off. That's why if you see a lot of people, like there's only a few people that like stay at the top, like Austin, Ali, who have real teams, like who have built their community the right way. And
Ali, though, I've heard is a big recycler.
No, he's not. He's not. Yeah.
You don't think he is?
No, I don't think he is. No, he has about 20 level 50s in his chat. Which like level
Does he
50
really?
gifters.
Wow.
Yeah. Bro, his team is crazy. Like, if you ever have a chance, just go watch him. I think people say that because they're envious of his team.
Yeah.
And trust me,
I'm not a fan of the guy though. Personally, I'm not.
Yeah, no, listen, I know people don't like him. I get it. You
Yeah.
know?
He did a thing. He had a deal with me. He because he was following me, and I guess I gifted somebody he was playing, and he was pissed that I didn't gift it. I don't know. It was something weird, childish, and I go, "Oh, I don't play that game. I just blocked him."
Yeah, some people he gets
Yeah,
touchy
he
about
seems
that,
like he's
for
got
sure,
little sissy syndrome.
But yeah, so everybody has their own thing, right? You know, and that's why it's great that there's so many different creators that we can watch and enjoy.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, man, the wrestling. I mean, honestly, there's been some crazy news this week. Did you see that Gable Steveson is going to play football with the Bills?
Yeah, let's get into the news here before we take some calls. So I did see that, but ESPN was covering it, I believe, and I think it's not like a big contract. It's like essentially kind of like a tryout. It's a rookie contract. I don't think he's never played football, right?
Yeah, so I have the thing here. He's never played football. It says Adam Schefter posted this. Gable Steveson, an Olympic gold medalist and one of the most dominant college wrestlers in NCAA history, is jumping to the NFL to sign with the Buffalo Bills. Stevenson is signing the standard rookie 3-year deal, and he will now set out to join Bob Hayes as the only athlete to win a Super Bowl ring and an Olympic gold medal.
Oh, wow.
Stevenson knows the learning curve will be steep, but is excited for the opportunity.
Yeah, so that's just going to be dependent on, if he gets cut and if they keep him on the practice squad or whatever, however that works out. Because that's going to take time. With that, obviously, though, you look at somebody like Brock that tried, and Brock had some football experience when he was younger, but that was no easy task, and nor did I. And I'm sure if he would have devoted the time, but I think Brock was looking to get paid with his name. And if Gable, though, if he's not going to be making that much, though, and he's going to be like, okay, I'll take some years and see if I can develop, and invest in himself. We'll have to see how that plays out. That's not going to be easy, though, man, playing against guys that have done this their whole lives.
Yep.
Even as talented as he is. I mean, there's a lot. Oftentimes it's not to say skills don't always transfer over, but a hard work ethic does. So if he's got the hard work ethic but that we could say, look at pro wrestling, that it doesn't translate all the time, right? With that. Yeah. And so that we'll have to see how it goes. I wish him all the best. And that's not going to be easy, but good for him if that's what he wants to do. And, let's see how it works out.
I used to love Big Guy when they used to bring in football players, like for like WCW and WWF. Like they would bring in like LT and who were some other big names that they brought in? Like I can't think of the other ones, but they would. Like if they were in the hometown that night, like they would bring out the big star of that team.
Well, they brought the Bears in, I think, one time. I think before Mongo McMichael and they brought some.
Yes, Mongo, that's right.
But he went to WCW eventually. But I know they brought the Bears in, or they did something with the Chicago Bears. But they still do it WWE when they're in, Patrick Mahomes when they're in Kansas City and some of their team here recently. They have always featured pro athletes or football players because there's always kind of been of a crossover of signing football players because they've got a good look or hard work ethic and some can pick up pro wrestling if they had a love for it as a kid or a desire to try it as an adult. So.
Yeah, I think Moose was a football player. The guy that's in TNA, mm-hmm. I think he was a football player.
Yeah, he's a big guy, man.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah. I know him from Kurt Hawkins because he is in a faction with him in TNA. But they speaking of like having like random people on, NXT had Sexy Red on the other night, who's a female rapper, which I think is like a real smart, like weird tactic because they're gonna bring fans in that normally don't watch the stuff.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that, Big Guy? Like when they bring somebody that's like random in like that doesn't wrestle.
Wait, hold on. So I'm sorry, I was taking care of somebody in the Ryback TV chat. I was listening. You're talking about. I saw you. Say it again.
Sexy Red.
Yeah.
Sexy Red is a female rapper right now.
Okay. Yep.
And they had her on NXT. And this is going to go into another topic I have.
I saw a clip. I think of this too. By the way. Okay.
Yes, and I was asking you, how do you feel about that when they bring in, like, it's going to bring an audience that they probably never would have gotten. I don't know if they will retain that audience, right? But it's a good way to have new eyes on the product.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel? Like, how do you think the locker room feels about that? Like, as a wrestler, when that happens.
No, I don't think it's bad. I think it's always good to do crossovers and collaborations. It's like social media. You see how powerful that can be. When you do the right sort of collaborations, it can get it doesn't always bring a ton of people over, but it depends on what kind of segment it is, how big of a superstar that person is, how big of a following they have. how much they promote it on their social media as well. Oftentimes, a lot of big celebrities don't promote stuff the best going in and stuff leading up to it, but they might take a clip or two and post it after. Then it doesn't really, when it's after the fact, it doesn't really help, the viewership of the segment they're in, other than their social media. A lot of it though is, wrestlers, as long as you're not really taking up spots or things like that. But you mean look at somebody like Bad Bunny, like with that, right? And the fan base that he has, and how large of a recognizable figure he is. And you bring him into a WWE setting, and then he actually works hard and had good outings there and did good business with that. That's good business, and they've got a good relationship with somebody like that. But like even that, like you don't see the difference in the ratings, right? Ratings are still so low in comparison, but social media numbers and stuff are great because people are viewing, and viewing habits have changed a lot. So where that pays off on the social media end, and obviously financially, at the end of the day, financially, if they're working with these people, which obviously is not cheap, they're making money on the deals to keep doing reoccurring business with them. So
Oh, for sure. I was thinking about all the money they make off Logan. Like, forget about it. Like, I can't even imagine how much money they make with the Prime deal and all that stuff. Forget about it.
Yeah, it's all about the money at the end of the day with them, and ratings are, ratings have adjusted and have changed just how people are viewing. But we see it. We look at all the options people have on social media, and all the different TikTok people. How many people are on TikTok live all the time? You've got YouTube live, Facebook live. People are live, Instagram live. There's just people are watching different things. There's people that don't watch TV at all, people that don't have cable anymore, people that just have Netflix or Wi-Fi, right, and streaming services. So, and that's why WWE, and I think moving to Netflix, they understand that viewership has changed. And even if less people watch Monday Night Raw on Netflix, when their viewership on social media and everything is more than ever, and if they're making more than ever, which they have, right? So there's a reason why they're kind of moving that direction, if they're because they're probably gauging all that specifically. So
agreed, it's a huge deal. And speaking of NXT, big guy, Jordan Grace showed up on NXT, and they said that TNA is now in a working relationship with WWE, and then they also debuted Ethan Ego Page, who was recently released from AEW, and I think it's a great signing. I think he's going to bring a lot of new eyes into NXT, and I don't think there's any like from having bringing in Ego, I don't think there's any downside to those kind of moves.
No, I think it's good, but too, they did it with Brian Pillman, who I know, and we follow each other, and I met him early on before he really got going at an independent show. I think the thing in what they're doing is in bringing select people outside of Jade, who they still gave time. They didn't just debut her right away. They'd sent her down there. They're giving the guys an opportunity to create a character that necessarily they didn't have, or they weren't on TV enough to have in AEW, right? Whereas that's the one thing I think, if there's a criticism, it could be character development in storylines, right? That people, as far as things that could be improved. And so Ethan has got a lot of potential, and you hear good things about him and in his work. But the thing, if you don't have a character, or you don't have an identity, if you can't answer well, who is Ethan Page? And you're kind of like, I don't know who Ethan Page is. I'm familiar with what he looks like, and I've seen him on TV. He's a good wrestler. He's a good worker, but I don't know who he is. Now WWE's taking these guys with potential that have had TV time and experience, and getting them in the system to where now they can create a character and see what they're really. And there's no guarantees, but they will have an opportunity. Brian Pillman has more character now than he ever had on AEW TV with all of it. Like, and that's, and I think that's a big difference. And that's kind of where you have to look at that and go, okay, that's something that can be improved over there. Like, and again, it comes down to, there was a reason WWE, when I came up through the system and they had people, they would ask you, who are you? Who is Ryback? Who, and like they sometimes would just come up to you and they're like, they'd send a text message while you're cut, like, and like, who, like, they get you thinking. like with that. And that's something that is individual talent. Anybody could do that at any point in time. You know, it's like when Miro went over to, you know, Rusev in WWE compared to Miro in AEW. When Rusev was in WWE, he was the Bulgarian brute, and like he had an identity and a character, right? And then even though he had a name value, but he had to redo his name when he went to AEW and Miro, and then he was doing, there was like a weird video game thing, but there was no explanation. There was no, and it was like, wait a second, this isn't the guy that we, and but there was no explanation, there was no character development to get to that. Oh, this guy likes video games now. This guy was just a major heel in WWE for, and then a huge baby face with the Rusev Day for a period. Like
the Rusev Day, yep.
Like I don't understand who this Miro guy just likes video games.
Yeah,
Like it was a disconnect, and like I think that's where character development and how WWE does things is number one for a reason. With that AEW, I hope, continues to improve upon.
Who would be the person that would text you who is Ryback?
At the time, there would be people. There was a guy, Kenobi, that was in creative. He had worked from develop. He was an OVW, and he was a weirdo in a lot of ways. But he was his job to ask you that. And then there were other people along the way, like especially this is more to developmental and on the way into in your beginning when you're getting into WWE. If you're given an opportunity where like they, and even he would come up and he goes, I need you, we got to come do promos. And you wouldn't be for TV or anything. It would be to kind of figure out who you are, to kind of help you for, so if you know who you are, you make everybody's job in WWE way easier with them writing material for you. So like by the time I came in as Ryback, like as opposed to Skip Sheffield, even though they didn't want me being that character, and Vince, I knew who I was as Skip Sheffield, the corn-fed meathead from College Station, Texas, happy-go-lucky, big guy that could kick ass, but wasn't afraid to be silly and goofy. Had a very good understanding of that character. But then when Vince goes, I don't want you being that character anymore, we got to get away from this. I didn't know who I was, other than I had the name Skip Sheffield. But so I was lost, even though I was in Nexus and used prominently. I didn't know who I was as a character anymore. With that, that was I was Ryback without knowing I was Ryback yet. But that was the beginning stages. But I didn't know that. And then by the time I'd had my injuries with my ankle and my leg and everything, like with that, and then came back as Ryback, and I was pissed off at WWE. I was pissed off at the world for everything that had happened to me. And I was like, I was hungry, and that was the feed me more. I wanted everything. I wanted more of everything. I wanted more success, more fame, more money, more. I wanted better, more competition. I wanted, like, legitimately, that's where I was in life. Like, I just wanted more, and it came out. But like that came from them questioning and me knowing who I was and figuring that out over time. That is the key to finding that lightning in a bottle many times with talents, is them figuring out who they are. And this is where it's very interesting with like somebody like Braun Breaker is, and he's going to have a huge opportunity here. And I feel like Braun is still discovering who he is as a human being. If Braun can really, as this time continues to go with this, if Braun truly can figure out who he is as a human being, like with this, and like what his wants and desires in life and who he is and what the Braun Breaker character is, and then really come into his own with it, he's gonna be a massive success like with that. But if he doesn't, and they just kind of pushing him, and he has all these skills, it's like you need to figure out who you are though, and in that, catchphrases can be developed, an identity can be created with it, and it's key to success, to really reaching high levels of success, is discovering who you are.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because there's a million people out there that are athletic and that can do the moves and can do that. But how many people can get on a mic and spit a promo without any fear? How many people can go toe to toe and go improv when you need to? You know, like how many people have that it factor about them that, you know, not many, right? And that's why they go through so many people, because there's so little of that in the world, you know, compared to the, you know, how many people there are and how many wrestlers there are, how many of them actually have that it factor, because everybody can do the moves if you train well and put the work in, right? Like, absolutely. So it's that it factor that separates the mediocre from the excellent. And
Yeah.
That's what it is.
In real life too, and another thing, and I speak for myself because I lived it and I know what I was going through, and the whole feed me more, the whole hungry thing, and I got fired, right? And when I was before, and they tried to fire me, and like when I from Nexus to Ryback, like with that, and I had to get attorneys to keep my job, but I had nothing in life. Everything I'd worked for was for pro wrestling, and like they tried to like put me out on the street with nothing. That was my mindset, like with it. So I was legitimately hungry. I came back with my ankle messed up still. I was like, I had this hunger in me that I was going to prove that like they made the biggest mistake in the world, and that's why I had the conversation with John Laurinaitis when he actually called to fire me, and I literally just I didn't let him, and I just cut a promo on him for 20 minutes from the heart, and he kept me with that, and because he realized what he did was wrong and they weren't gonna. But I told him, I go, I'm gonna be the biggest effing star in the company from 1 year from right now, and I believed it with a passion. I knew where I was in life, and that happened. It happened like with it, but I had that belief and I that experience that happened with the company that played out like in a lot of ways on TV of where I was in my life. I knew if I failed and I didn't succeed as Ryback, that I was done. I knew that. So like my back was up against the wall every week in my head, in my mind, up to a certain point of I have to go out there and kill this every single and like it's a state of desperation and hunger and like now if you don't have that and you're like life is good and you're just starting at like not to say you can't be successful, but like it makes a difference on how things translate on TV when real life can be brought into the character and whatnot as well, you know.
Yeah, for
So
sure. As a salesman, like as a mortgage salesman, and as a salesman in general, the rule of thumb when you first start is get bills, like get a car bill, get a mortgage,
yeah.
because when you have bills, it pushes you harder. When you are living a lifestyle and you're comfortable, you don't push. Your mind gets comfortable, and a lot of human beings let themselves get into a place of comfort where they don't push. So a lot of people, even the biggest salesmen in the world, they will go in over their head to keep them motivated,
Yeah.
because that's what desperation is, a real MFer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it pushes people to a point where, they might not go if they don't have that desperation. So I see it. I see exactly where, you came from, and it's just who you are as a person too, also.
Yeah. But you look
You
at
know?
too, like you go back and look at like you look at the Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and the success they had, and they were brought in and things didn't go as planned. Austin with the ringmaster and Rock is the Rocky Maivia with that, and like they were on kind of and they both had came up in different paths and that they have their stories. But like the company, like they were, it was like real life was like was coming to life with their characters of like of they had to like their what they were experiencing in life through either wrestling or their personal lives then eventually came out through their characters with that, and it's like but people can feel that people that's the realism of pro wrestling that you can't script like with that and it's just there's something to it as opposed to somebody taking off a production line and just coming out and playing a character that's not really true to their nature. It's much more difficult to be as successful in that like with it, and and too like when like if everything's okay and you're showing up especially and you just kind of you don't you play it safe like wrestling too. A lot of this is where a lot of and I noticed this with a lot of talents play it safe like with this. And that's where when I came in, I was so angry. I go, I'm not gonna play it safe. I wanted in the WWE and started doing the picking up all the people. I go, if that would have started failing, I would have been over with quicker than it started. They would have pulled the plug and they kept me doing it. But that was like those were my bills. Those I was like putting this pressure on myself every week. I wanted to go even further, but I'd already gotten big enough. I remember I told him I wanted 3 people. I wanted to triple stack somebody, and that was going to be a very, very difficult task to do routinely. And there was a very really high risk for error with a third guy because picking them up with the 2 guys was hard enough as it is with timing. 3 was even harder in how far out they went. And there was a really good probability that it could fail. I still wanted to go out on live TV and do it. I felt like under the pressure of TV that I could pull it off. And but Hunter, they go no, but they were protecting the investment at that point because I had already gotten over with it and they knew that I'd already proven. And so that was the case, but that's just my mindset. I'm like, I'm really willing to risk it all for massive levels of success. Whereas some people just go out and like just play it safe. And then with that, it doesn't necessarily take off the same way.
This is something I've always wondered, big guy. Did you feel the moment that everything switched when you got over from not being over? Like, did you just feel it instantly,
Yeah.
or was it something that built up?
I felt so what happened and so initially I wasn't over when I first came out as Ryback, and people didn't know, brand new, but I could hear the oohs and ahs of the physicality with it, but I wasn't getting a reaction. Like as far as I wasn't getting a pop. People didn't know if I was a baby face or heel. And then it was when after it was very not long into it, might have been a month, whatever that first week I screamed, "Feed me more" in the camera. And Vince heard it, and Road Dogg came up to me in the back. He goes, "What did you say out there?" I said, and I had to I go, after the match, I go, "I screamed, 'Feed me more.'" And he goes, "Keep doing that. Vince loves it." And that was where I timed. I go, "Oh, that times with my arm taunt that I was doing from the movie Bloodsport, from the bad guy in Bloodsport that didn't really have I just knew I always loved that, but I didn't know how to turn that into a thing." And then I go, "Oh, I can do 'Feed me more' and scream 'Feed me more' with the arm taunt in sync." And that doesn't look silly anymore because that looked kind of silly doing it how I was doing it with and that's how it came together. And then I remember there was after I did it on TV one or two times, people were doing it already. And I go, "This is it." I felt it. And then people started chanting, "Feed me more" before the shows. That's when I remember some guys who came up to me, they go, "They're chanting your phrase." Guys from developmental. And I remember that rise of "Oh shit, this is happening." So
Yep, like that moment.
that's
so interesting.
Very early on, but it wasn't until it was when the Feed Me More synced, and then obviously WWE started giving the guys heel promos to cut, kind of ripping on the towns and everything, and that kind of by default that put me in a babyface position of just go out and do cool shit.
Yep.
So that was, and it was
coming out and you were beating up the people who were talking bad about the towns. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, I would get pops because they started everything when they saw with the Feed Me More, and then Vince and them started really, really letting the guys they would start being annoying to where people wanted to see these guys, just the little people, get decimated because they were smaller. So but even though it was 2-on-1, they were smaller guys. So it was a very interesting way that we did the squash matches that I'm very grateful. And I'll say that it worked. It was perfectly done by everyone involved. So
yep, that's awesome. How do you feel about Edge, big guy?
Oh,
things to talk about, and then we can get to
yeah.
the calls. But Edge jumped off the top. If you guys didn't see it, he jumped off the top of a cage, and it was he mislanded the jump, and he fell. He was supposed to land on the table through his opponent, and he fell before, and he broke his tibia, and now his future is uncertain. Did you watch?
Was it the fibula or tibia?
Tibia. I'm sorry, tibia.
It was tibia.
Yeah, tibia. Sorry.
Okay, I think that's the one I broke. If it is when my ankle injury, if it's the outer left calf or outer calf bone.
Yes, it's the tibia for sure.
Okay. I saw that, and he was supposed to. Was it supposed to be an elbow drop?
It looked like it was supposed to be but it looked like he didn't get enough off the jump. When I watched it back, and I mean he was a good 4 or 5 feet away. Guy. He wasn't even close. He didn't. I don't even think he hit the table.
I saw it was tough to watch because that's high up, and obviously he's in great physical shape. His age doesn't even matter on that. Anybody comes down on their leg like that, that his age didn't even. It's just that at his age, taking a risk like that he doesn't need to take. But if there's anybody, he's the kind. He knows himself very well, and that's something would that happen in WWE? I don't know if people in WWE would have let him ever do that. I don't know. I think I think, yeah, if Vince was still there, Hunter, I think they would have nixed it, and I don't think he would have done it against their approval. I think they would have, because they would have been protecting their investment. They would have
for sure.
And he's already over, and but I understand like where you get in a mindset sometimes too, and he's working with younger people, and sometimes you just want like he's probably working for the respect of guys in the back.
Yeah.
Over, it's not necessarily for anything for people, even though I'm sure that could be a part of it too. That hey, I could still do stuff. Hey, I'm not done yet, and with it, but like you don't need to. But if there's one person that he get the pass because it's like of his right with what he's accomplished and he knows himself better than anyone. But I think that it's just a good reminder that you don't have to always take crazy chances and that this is the downfall of when you do that is now you're out for a really long time or extended period of time, and that hurts the company tremendously as opposed to just go to the top rope and do an elbow off the top rope. Right.
Yeah, and I feel like somebody like him, like he already like you said, like he already is like he's Adam Copeland, he's Edge. Like he doesn't need to do those things. And I see what you're saying though. Like it might be for the guys in the back, like to be like, hey, I could do it too. Like I could still go. But it's just sad, man. I love Edge, and I've always respected him, and I'm not outside of wrestling, obviously, because he's done some questionable things with Lita and Matt and things like that. But like I do respect him as a wrestler, and I've always loved his character. To be honest,
he's always been a great guy. I love him, man. People all make mistakes throughout their personal lives and do different things. So I'll never get. I wasn't there, and I don't know the circumstances, but like. And that stuff all got made public and was turned into a storyline. But I could tell you, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And I talked to him before. He called me before he went back to wrestling, and we had a conversation about stem cells. And he's always been really good to me, man. Always given me a lot of respect, and I have nothing but love and
good to hear.
Yeah, I have nothing but love and respect. He actually, I'll tell you, a rib I told you on here, he played on me back during Nexus, which was him and Jericho. What they did when I was Skip Sheffield, but he I just think that like when you're in that environment, that it's more of, I think this is a good learning lesson for AEW, and that you like, and I don't know because I'm not there, so I don't know how it all went down, but like you got to protect the investments, and like like that's a high risk move that anybody that's in the know just goes, man, if you get hurt on this, like you're one of our big guys right now. We don't, ratings have been down, and like if you're not at the shows, and where it's kind of like with the timing of it's not great, right? With everything that's gone on. So, and I know they've had it, and there's two more people leaving. I don't know if this is your other thing with Arn Anderson and Mark Henry with AEW, but I do want to touch on that also here in a second.
Oh yeah. No, go ahead. Actually, it wasn't.
But I want to just finish with the Edge thing first. But best wishes to Edge. He's great human being, amazing wrestler, and it sucks that it happened. But I understand, like you get caught up in the moment, and like you want to go, and but we're all human and make mistakes, and he's and rather than he didn't hurt anybody, he hurt himself, probably trying to be even more careful, and that's a big jump, man. And with that, so
he has balls just to take that jump,
bro. He jumped off the top and landed on his leg. That's even worse. But like
I know.
Coming down even for an elbow on barbed wire and all that, do you know how painful that was not going to be? Like that was not going to be a good bump no matter what. Like it was.
Exactly. And that makes me think maybe he hesitated, right? Like it could have been, right? Like, just knowing what you were going to land on. It's a tough situation.
It is.
Yeah. I saw the Mark Henry stuff. Go ahead, big guy. You want to talk about it?
No, I saw. So AEW, that Arn Anderson's contract, I believe, has came up, and Arn made it known that he wanted to focus at this point of his life on Brock, his son Brock, and his career and in his development. And I don't know if Brock is no longer with AEW, I believe. So, and I don't know if that means there's potential for Brock to go to NXT and Arn go back to WWE, or Arn to go to NXT. I don't know. I don't know what the future plans hold, or if it maybe to do some independence together and to help his development that way. So it'd be interesting to see. But I know Cody's made comments about Arn in WWE And Cody is very pro Arn, as am I. Arn is very knowledgeable and was very beneficial for Cody, which Cody will adamantly say in AEW and everything, and having the extra pair of eyes and ears that is in the know and from a political aspect of things. I will not be shocked if WWE comes to an agreement to get Arn to come back in as a producer with Triple H there, and with his son to get an NXT deal possibly. Don't be shocked if something comes up here very soon with all of that.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I love Arn. I don't know much about his son, to be honest. I haven't watched him wrestle at all. But I do know that Arn is from what I have seen people say about Arn, it's always revered stuff. Like you never hear a bad word about him. Was he friends with Dusty, big guy? Is that why he's so close to Cody? Or
I believe so. Yeah, he's just a great human being, man. As far as like how he backstage, like with me, he always, and like when everything was going on with me, he knew that there was legal stuff going on. We never had to get into it. He knew, though, he understood like the frustrations, and I never had to say anything to him. He would, and he always would come to me and find a very, very positive way to relay bad news if there was, and that or to find a way to do business the right way, even though it wasn't ideal. And like he would let me know that I wasn't doing anything wrong if that was when things were going on. And like he had a way of, with everybody, getting good business, because he's so respected. When Arn tells you the business at hand, he has a way of doing it that is better than everybody else.
Got it.
And he could find the positive for you in the situation to where you feel good about, okay, I can go out there and do this tonight. He's very good at giving you both sides of the scenario. So
yeah, he's like a Sour Patch. First he's sour, then he's sweet.
yeah, but he also, though, like he'll be the first to tell you, like if they wanted to turn me heel again towards the end when I was on the way out, and because I hadn't signed the contract, but that was what he goes, don't let that. I mean, in a nice way, he goes, I think you need to go have a conversation. He goes, I don't think this is, look at what they did to Big Show. He goes, you don't want to be turning back and forth. He goes, you need to stay babyface this time. And he goes, anybody would do that? He goes, that's my opinion. And like, he wasn't like burying WWE. He's just giving you real life feedback from being there and understanding people's careers. And like, that's where he's beneficial to a guy like Cody. And he's in the weeds, and he's in those production meetings. He can know if the vibe is changing in there on you. Cody, that's where Cody is very smart in wanting a guy like that to have your back. Because you have eyes and ears in the production meetings. You've got an extra set of eyes and ears backstage, that if you're on the left side of the arena and he's on the right side, and he catches a conversation in catering that maybe you need to know about that you wouldn't be privy to, like it's very beneficial. And this is because it could be a Shark Tank back there at different times in the how things work out. So I think it's a huge loss for AEW losing him. But I believe it's probably his decision to probably want to, with his son, and possibly I wouldn't be shocked if he goes back to WWE.
Yeah, I think AEW just got a 500-pound weight off their hands by letting Mark out.
Yeah, they so that and that one, and again, and I'm gonna keep. I always talk with people. I told you guys, like, and give you, and I have the issues with him. Everything with him with the lies that he's gone on and done. But I'll tell you, like, so in the scenario in this situation, the reality of it is AEW. I don't know what they signed him for. I'm sure it wasn't cheap, like with that when they brought him in, but he never wrestled or did anything on that end. The commentating gig on TV, I think that did not work out right.
No, it
didn't, and it wasn't for whatever reasons, it didn't work out with that. And I'll keep my personal feelings aside on that. Then they put him in a backstage interviewer role with that, and I know he did that for a little bit. I believe they removed him from that, right? Or no?
I believe so. Yeah, I haven't seen him do any backstage.
Can anybody? Yeah, I know he was doing that for a while, but I don't know Maybe he did that to the end. I don't, because I didn't see all the shows, but I know he did that. And I'll even, to his credit, that's being a backstage interviewer and being him and being a large human being like that, bigger than like most of the other talents. Like with that, it's kind of a weird spot to put him in, like with that. But it's for all whatever reasons, it didn't work out right with that. And then I don't believe he was ever a producer or agent. Maybe he was, maybe I never heard of him doing that. And so I don't know, 3-year deal, and they just decided to go ahead and probably split ways on that for what he was being paid, in what he was given. But I think it too with WWE, they didn't offer him a contract outside of wrestling when everything was over with all of that. And I think it goes down, and I know Mark, and like, I'm just going to leave my personal issues. I think that's a good move for AEW, though, personally.
Yeah, I think so too. And who knows, right? Like, now with WWE, with all these new talents they're signing, who knows? They might pick him up to help with some of the newer wrestlers. They have a ton of people already that help, but they have so much money, it really doesn't matter to them. Like if they pick up a guy like Mark Henry, like there's no downfall from that.
It
right?
depends. It depends on what they pay, but they can usually, what they do is if they give you a Legends deal and bring you in, or you're on a Legends deal, or you're doing a back, it would be essentially, though, is like what would be his backstage role? I don't know. What category he would fall into with all of that. But even a Legends deal, like on action figures and things, and if they keep you on TV here and there, or have you do, they can usually, Boogeyman's on a Legends deal. Boogeyman still does pretty good on his figures and stuff, because they keep him alive just enough with that. So like from that standpoint, they're always going to make their money. But like with AEW, though, he wasn't wrestling, and I don't think their merch and everything is as strong as WWE's on the production side of things. Action figures and video games, even though they're doing it now, I don't believe they're at that level yet. So
yeah, if correct me, chat, if I'm wrong on YouTube, but a new Mark Henry figure just came out, so I believe that he is on a Legends deal already. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But I just, in my figure groups, I have seen them post I've seen them post a Mark Henry figure. I'm not sure if it's newer or whatever, but I've seen a couple people post it. I don't know if it's coming out or if it came out already, but. If anybody knows in the chat, let us know.
That'd be interesting then. Yeah, you'll have to see, because the deal just came up. So there's no way. I can't see that. It might have been an old one, because I don't think he would be able. I don't know if he would be able to be on a WWE Legends deal along with working for AEW. That would be kind of like a conflict of interest, I would think.
I wonder. I wonder if anybody else had.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna look into that actually. But yeah, the two quick things I had, big guy, where MJF came back with the AEW tattoo on his leg, and the other thing was Bill Goldberg referred to Bret Hart as the moron he kicked in the head.
When did Bill's been like saying some things? Bill went on the thing with AEW.
Yeah.
Where like after like him and Tony were talking, and then he just kind of went and buried him after. And then what's the deal? Where did he do that thing with Bret at?
He did it on it says it's from nodq.com. And I don't know where he did it, but like it's legitimate. Like he said it. Like I made sure it was true.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean they've had their history, so that's between them. It's unfortunate, but
yeah,
I like Bret. Always speaks. Bret, has always been very. A lot of people, Bret will get flack from people, which people are always just complaining. But Bret is well spoken and speaks from the heart with things, and is very passionate. But a lot of people too, like Bret, will be asked a question and he answers honestly.
Yep.
And then they take that clip, and because he gets a lot of views, because he's a major star, and he wasn't.
John said he said it on the Von Erich podcast. Thank
really?
you, Johnny.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So I mean, it's just he's probably just Bret still probably gets asked about it and probably doesn't say the nicest thing. So Bill's probably just it's an unfortunate situation, all of it. But
It is.
It
I don't
sucks.
blame Bret. I don't blame Bret. Like, listen, like, and I don't blame Bill either because things happen, right?
Yeah.
Like accidents happen. But like, listen, I don't think Bill ever meant to do it. But the fact that he didn't never like apologize for
Yeah.
it to me is wrong. And Bret could have been. Who knows what Bret could have been.
Suffered a stroke.
Wrestling. Yeah, like you see, like come on, like if you look at Bret in the interviews, like after that happened, he's just not all
Not the
there
same.
sometimes, and like
Yeah.
you could tell it really messed him up, and I'm sure financially it messed him up because
Oh, yeah.
he
Cut
he
his
could have
career
been
short.
wrestling. Yeah, he could have been wrestling for many years after that. He was still somewhat in his, not prime, but like he wasn't out of his prime for sure.
Yeah. Oh no, he was still in. Yeah, he was still going strong. So
yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I didn't know. So that's the deal then that Bill never apologized. Has Bill never apologized still to this day or what? Like I thought he.
From what I know, that was his biggest problem with Bill was that he never came up to him and said like I'm sorry, and like he never and like he even I think Bill doubled down on it like in in promos and stuff like after the fact. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I remember like seeing this, and Bill would double down on like hurting him and stuff, like after it happened, like on the mic, and Bret was very taken aback by that and disrespected by it. So that was Bret's problem, was that he never felt remorse from him.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Bret's been through a lot too, losing and family members and Owen.
Losing Owen, yeah. I mean, it's tough. Like,
a lot of that's where people don't really. You got to try to have put yourself in somebody else's shoes, but it sucks too because people. What happened? It's like kind of with me when like we do this show, and I notice it when I post the clips and the people when the guy makes the clips. If somebody calls in and asks me a question, I answer honestly and recount something for somebody, right? Like with that. And then I post the clip, and then people like, Jesus, you're still talking about. It's like the problem is that, like in Bret, and he does the interviews, these people don't ask new questions. They do it for views with things. But Bret, and I could say you just answer like you want people to understand the situation and where you're coming from. So you just speak honestly. It's like I do. Like when somebody calls in, I'm not thinking like I am thinking. I go, Jesus, I've answered this 1,000 times, but like I'm gonna answer it again because there's clearly not everybody's heard it, and it just you're in like. But then other people have heard it. That fun. They're just like my thing is just don't listen to it. But Bret, he's been through a lot, man, and he was one of my favorites growing up. So I have nothing but love and respect for him.
Agreed. You're right. They take it as bitching when it's like, no, I'm not bitching. I'm regurgitating the information that people ask me.
Yeah.
So like, and that's what people don't realize is that they think that you're bitching about a subject, but you're not. You're just recounting it for people who may not have heard it. Not everybody listens to every podcast.
No.
Like it's just not there. I didn't know. Like to be honest, big guy, I didn't know about your story before I met you. You know what I mean? Like so. Like it happens. There's people out there that just stumble in sometimes, and they might not know.
And too, if you're just listening to a clip, you're not listening to the entire show or what's said before and after, and then you can kind of get to know a person's personality and like realize like because they see something and they go, oh, that's all they do is just do this over and over and over, like and it's like no, but like it's what you're dealing that you need reasoning and common sense as well, like with this stuff to understand that you're watching clips at other too. It's like when like people make dirt sheets, make clips on like I'm not the one making those.
Yep.
We're not the one I'm just living my life like with it. And then but it's like these people are the ones that put out that stuff and then they try to put a negative thing. But a lot of people don't understand that. I find it odd, but it is what it is. So
agreed, big guy.
I will say too, because I always try to be fair, because somebody pointed out in the chat RT the brand and as much personal issues that I have with the guy for some of the lies that he has told. I always will be fair and honest. They said Mark Henry was the one who discovered Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, that he has.
Oh, wow.
He has an eye for talent. So, and I do believe that is true. I did hear that before. like with that.
Bianca's
So
huge. I mean, Jade's going to be huge, but Bianca is a huge talent. That's
so
wild. I
he,
didn't know that.
maybe there is something for him somewhere that we're letting him find specific people, that based off their look, and with that. So who knows? Maybe that's something that he is good at. We'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right, let's get to some calls here today. See what's going on. Today's show too, guys. We're at an hour. We're gonna probably I'm gonna say 15, 20 minutes of calls today, and then we're gonna cut the show. And because I've got a lot to do today, and then I've got to do my TikTok today as well. So we're gonna save the voice. Baba effing Bowie with a profile picture of me. Welcome to the Ryback Show. What's going on?
Hey, big guy. It's been a long time, man. I miss coming on here. How you guys been?
Good, buddy. How you been?
Up and down. My uncle, man, he was a fan of you too. I was nursing him. He passed away a couple months ago, so it's been kind of rough.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm very sorry to hear that. That sucks.
But sorry for your loss.
Thank you too, Sean. I appreciate it, man. But my wife, she's been a very big confidant for me, and we've been getting by.
I'm happy to hear that, man. Yeah, and there's nothing we could say that can help with that other than just time and trying to go one day at a time.
He loved whenever I'd come on here, but because he'd be like, "Oh, you gotta go talk to the big guy." He wasn't too much of a wrestling fan. He was kind of an '80s wrestling fan, but he knew shit though. He's like the big guy, Ryback, and he'd do the, because he had a little bit of brain damage, unfortunately. He'd do the little hand thing and go, "Feed me more." Richie was here. He'd love this right now, but I know my time's short, so I'm gonna keep it short. I was thinking though of an interesting topic in case I got on here. Do you guys believe in any wrestling conspiracy theories?
I mean, it depends. What's on your mind? Which one?
Because I have a couple to this day that I still believe, and I'll start from like the most believable to the like, whoa, what the heck, I think so obviously we all know Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, right? Now, a couple years back, a few years back now, he he had to retire back in his initial WWE run because of his neck injuries.
Yep.
And he he went to 4 different doctors, he said, and one of which being a WWE doctor. And every other doctor besides the WWE doctor cleared him. Kind of a crazy. WWE kind of wanted him to, go away so other people could shine because he was kind of outshining them. That's one conspiracy theory I kind of believe in. I don't know that, it's only a theory and whatnot, but that's one. What's your take on that little theory?
Well, he did get cleared by WWE doctors eventually, didn't he?
Yeah, it was like I think what was it, 3 years up, because he did the retirement after 31, right?
Yep.
And then I believe he showed up at 34. He had a tag match with Shane, and he fought it was Sammy and Kevin, right? 34?
Yeah, I was there for his retirement in Seattle. Was it in Seattle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
I was there. I remember I said I went and talked to him in his before I left the arena that night.
And I was just thinking, I'm like, that was one conspiracy theory I had. Did WWE try to just silently remove him so other people could shine?
I think I'm gonna just nix that one. I mean, they cleared him eventually. I think they just were just.
That's true.
If they wanted to have cleared him and he went, then that's a different. But they did clear him, so that kind of, if that was the case, then that kind of throws it out the window. I think they were probably just trying to protect him from,
which is, bodies come first, because it's like, a lot of people don't realize this.
Yeah, they weren't protecting him for his well-being. They were protecting him from themselves from a lawsuit or something. They were probably just, because they don't really care about anybody really, but like they don't want somebody that has a serious injury or track record. They don't want that on their hands as well.
Oh no, that'd be bad because they already have enough blood on their hands as it is.
Yeah.
With all the CTE and God forbid what happened to Owen, they already have a lot of blood on their hands.
Yeah.
And how they treated you too all these years, all these injuries you had built up. And it's a shame it had to come to the point where you had to leave to save your own life. And not a lot of people know that story.
Yeah.
It's like you were saying to Sean a minute ago. Everyone judges you, but they don't know your story.
Yeah.
It's sad, Now I'll get to this. Before I go, I want to get to the crazy theory I have. I think, obviously Jim Hellwig, Ultimate Warrior, I think he might have known he was going to go soon. He might have had some underlying condition he never talked about, but I think he knew he was going to go soon. Because his last promo on Raw in 2014, it was very ominous. Like it was kind of like he was saying goodbye to everyone. You know what I mean? I think he might have. Obviously, I don't know Jim Hellwig. I never met him, but I feel like he might have knew his time was coming soon. He just wanted to make sure, to say thank you to everyone and to give a good motivational speech. I still think about that. He said every word, the words they breathed their last breath. And that was very moving shit.
And that's so that one I can see, because at his, how old was Ultimate Warrior when he
I believe he was Sean, you can back me up on this. I think he was like 56, 57 around that time.
Okay.
I'll look it up right now. Hold on.
That sounds
2014.
Yeah. And I was there for all of that.
54.
Okay, 54. So my guess is based to it like that he would be getting probably regular tests done. I don't know anything personal about him or know the guy.
Yeah, me neither.
But it's very likely that if he had a heart issue, he would know about it, and that he had heart tests.
Vocal about it either,
Yeah, no, you want it. You wouldn't. Why would you? There's not. So I'm sure he was probably privy to something that in his health that, in my opinion, why after all those years that he was then okay going back to WWE. If you know that your life is in jeopardy and you've got a wife and kids, you're going to want to do something financially to make sure they're okay for the rest of their lives, right? So this one,
sure to do that.
I think that one is I think the likelihood of him knowing is probably very good, in that he was the one in repaired the relationship with WWE, so that one, and we'll never know the details of any of that. But they did the video game deal and the things so that he had some money coming into his wife and daughters. And then that kind of led the way, repair the relationship, which WWE employed Dana Warrior for many years after that, right?
Yeah,
so
she was protected for quite a while. She did the Warrior Award.
Yeah. So my guess is that you were probably, I wouldn't be shocked if he knew something. Maybe he didn't know when, but
it's not unheard of. People will get terminal conditions and they kind of keep it to themselves. Like what's his name, the actor there?
Everybody
the funny
does.
Guy.
Yeah. What's not everybody's
Norm
business.
Macdonald.
Yeah.
He did the same thing. He did the same thing. Everyone was surprised when Norm Macdonald passed when he had cancer, but he just never outright told people he had cancer.
Yeah.
So it's not unheard of.
No, not at all. But but my thing is, like, Jim, he was health conscious in ways of that. He seems like the kind of guy that would know, like, get in his blood pressure and for the past, and like he was intelligent enough to where that he would be in tune with his health and has a family. I don't see it just being completely out of the blue. Is it possible? It is. Is it possible? But like typically with heart conditions and stuff, there's telltale signs of things that like things are not going well based off cholesterol, blood pressure, and then obviously various other heart tests from other things. So
and like it caught me off guard so much the next day. Dude said Warrior's dead. I'm like, no fucking way. And I look up and he's gone. And I was just, wow.
I remember, I believe I was in. I don't think we were in Raw. Was it Raw? Or was it Raw or SmackDown? It might have been SmackDown. I was at SmackDown because he was on Raw on Monday when he did the speech. Yeah, and we still did SmackDowns on Tuesday because I remember I was in Gorilla when I heard somebody in Gorilla with Vince and Hunter and them got the word, and I remember hearing one of them saying Ultimate Warrior's dead. Something like I was in the vicinity of because I was in Gorilla. Now that I'm having to think about all that and just like, oh my God, like now everyone was like kind of in disbelief.
Yeah, so everyone just seen him the day before, and like that's to this day that still catches me off guard because it's like, But looking back, I do think he might have known his time was close. He probably didn't think it was the next day, obviously, but he probably knew.
Yeah.
And before I go, I do want to talk about the real quick. I'll keep it short. Don't worry. You know me. I'm respectful to all the viewers. We're talking about tattoos and MJF's tattoo. You know me. I've got the big Bear Trap R tattoo on my left arm. Your logo, because you inspire me. You always have, right? you ever come to Rhode Island, you got a sign underneath it, and I'll get that tatted under there too.
Thank you very much. You're the best.
Yeah, you too, man. Keep kicking.
If I take my shirt off, would you tattoo it on you?
Hey, you know what? I got. You know what? If I get that, I get it up right there on my back. That way, my wife has to look at it every night.
All right, later, brother.
Bye.
Hey, take it easy, guys.
Take it easy.
Later.
All right. All right. Good to talk again. I haven't seen them in a bit. That's good. It's been a minute.
The profile picture makes me laugh, to be honest.
That was the old Kane concessions, Kane Ryback. Hey, Kane, you forgot your nuts, stupid.
You forgot your nuts, yeah.
It's a hood classic.
Oh my gosh. You know who has a great story about Ultimate Warrior? My buddy Dylan Postel, a Hornswoggle.
Oh yeah.
He was a diehard Ultimate Warrior fan growing up, and the first and only picture he ever, and I believe the only time he ever met him as an adult was that night. Backstage at the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah.
And he got his only picture with him backstage.
Wow.
And like that is like crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of gives me the chills, right? Like it gives me the chills. Like you know that he was alive in that picture, and then the next day he was gone. And then, like that's just unfortunate. You know,
the unknown of death. Of like, of just it's over when it's over, man. It comes.
Yep.
There's never really.
There's no stopping it.
The more we try to understand in life, that may be the one thing. That'll be the one thing I feel like we never really understand. Who knows?
I agree.
I don't see how we ever can until you experience it, right? So
yeah,
we can guess and estimate. Try to just guess to the best of our ability, but it's they'll never know for sure.
Hopefully one day we'll be up there, big guy together, and shell shocking people.
Oh man. Let's see here. Trying to see if we get a new caller here saying, you tell me, Shawnee, because sometimes I can't remember. I mean, we have different people. I'm trying to see if there's a new caller. Is there anybody you guys on the reason that's never called in, that's never been on the show?
I don't see who requests.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Todd Phillips. I think let's do a question with Todd. Let me see. Todd, if we can do a question with you here.
Amber, you called in. Not Amber.
Autumn.
What's her name? Autumn. Thank you.
Todd, what's going on? Welcome to the Ryback Show.
Hey, Todd.
Good. How you doing?
Low it to the floor, Todd.
That's great, man. Sorry, I didn't realize this would be on. I just have one question, really. I don't know if you're keeping up with what happened on Smackdown yesterday, but what do you think? What's your opinion on what they're doing with LA Knight right now? Do you think they're going to let him do a title run with the whole Logan Paul thing, or what?
So what happened with Logan Paul? I did not watch Smackdown last night. I apologize.
Oh God. Well, let me just preface this by saying I'm very sorry. I'm new to wrestling. I got into it because my boyfriend likes it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah, but if I sound like a mark, I apologize.
No, it's okay.
No, a mark is negative. A mark is not. You're a newbie. A mark is somebody that's negative. Yeah, marks. I feel like people don't understand. Mark are the obsessed fans that are overly critical and negative. Yeah. Yes, you call them a mark all day. Good fans are just good fans.
Well, no, and basically, LA Knight, he's really good on the mic. He's really over right now. He's got his whole thing going on.
Yep.
And basically, Tucker helped.
He went to Nick Aldis's office and requested Logan Paul's presence, and of course, Logan Paul wasn't there. So he basically, it seems like now he asked about the title. It seems like they're finally pushing LA Knight for the U.S. title.
Okay.
Just thoughts on now that it seems like they're finally pushing him, and I guess just your thoughts on LA Knight in general.
Okay, I think so I know enough, and I've seen enough of him here recently. I just did not see that. obviously he got red hot, and they pulled it back a little bit with everything, but he's still being used and featured on everything. I think that this could be, it depends on what direction they go. This could be a great thing if they use this to do maybe like a 2 or 3 month program with Logan Paul, where maybe he ends up losing 1 or 2, but coming out victorious in the end. I think that will be very good business being done if they do that with it. But I do think he needs, if they're going to put him in this program, I think this is from the LA Knight standpoint, it's going to be very telling on the direction of where they see him fitting in based off of if he wins or loses the United States Championship, would be my guess. Because I think at this point, if he doesn't win that, which is considered a secondary title or a title to lead up to the heavyweight championship, like when it's done properly, like if you lose that one, and then and you go down from there, where does he end up there, right? So.
Yeah. I'm going to preface this with I love LA Knight, and I think that he's excellent. And I think that his story is amazing, but I believe that he got hot at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people came into the WWE as he was getting hot, like Cody, Logan, guys like that, where they have to give them a top spot. And I feel like it's just bad timing with him, to be honest, you know?
You got to pull the trigger, though. That's where I say, like, there's times in, like, when I was red hot, you've got to pull the trigger at the right time, like, with it. You really do. But, like, we saw it, like, with Braun and Rusev, and, like, when they got hot, and Zack Ryder, and they don't pull the trigger at the right time or don't keep you going on that upward trajectory, then you start going down, like, with that. And it's not the talent's fault. It's the company is failing the talent. The talent is never in any way, shape, or form typically failing. It's the company is failing to utilize what's going on with them for whatever reasons. And there's always various things and things going on. But he's still being used right now. But I think this is a pivotal, important point for him to get the W eventually and win the United States Championship, get a title on him, and start him on that quest for eventually getting him in the main event again. I think is hopefully what what we're going to see here.
I hope so too, because like I'm new, so like I've from what I've seen, like whenever I found out that LA Knight hasn't really had like a title run at all, I was genuinely surprised. Like I was like, what, really? But he's so over. I guess it's like I don't know. I'm talking
welcome to the world of disappointment.
No.
Well, I just got to say, like, it's like a delicate balance because, like, they don't want to, because in my mind, what I've observed is, like, as soon as they start, like, doing that, he's gonna start losing traction because he's already got it, he's earned it, and now that popularity and that overness is gonna go down. So they're trying. I mean, I guess in their eyes, they're trying to time it right, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, just I love LA Knight.
But this is what they do. So here's the other thing, and I live this. What they will do though is if they don't want you in that area, they will slowly put chinks in your armor. And you could say that they've done this with him. You'll be like scratching your head, like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? But you still stay over. But the overness comes down. It's coming down. He's not as over as he was. He's still over, but he's not as over as he was. Like, so, but they can still save it, like, and get it going like at any point right now. But like eventually what they'll do is they do it in stages. So if he loses this, then eventually they'll sell him on we're going to turn you heel. And then they take away everything that was good about him. And you've seen this with other talents. They do this. And then all of a sudden now he's just like LA Knight, but he's not doing anything that made him LA Knight.
Right. Yeah, man, that's I hate this.
So,
I don't want to be in wrestling anymore.
But that's where we got to see what happens, like with what they're gonna do with him. So
yeah, that's true.
And then there'll be backstage rumors that he has a bad attitude or this and that, and and then like they can turn people against because they are pros at it. That's what they do. They feed out.
Are you telling me that wrestling is just the same thing over and over again, or what?
It's just history repeating itself over and over with new people.
It is.
And then once in a while, somebody a little different comes along, but usually it's just repeating things.
Oh, dang it. Because we're rewatching the Attitude Era right now. We're in 98. And I swear to God, it's just now getting good because Undertaker came back and they're like hyping up the whole Unforgiven pay-per-view with their Inferno match.
Yeah.
But like, then week after week of the Headbangers and Los Baracquas. And
Welcome to my childhood.
love of God. Can we please God, let Undertaker. And then he'll show up and he'll be like, hey, I'm going to talk to you, and then he'll just leave. It's like
people think that yes, the Attitude Era was the best era of wrestling TV, but people remember it as a kid, and I think when you get older, you don't realize how many like squash matches went on, but the difference is that everybody had a storyline. That's the difference between now and then. Like, even the little characters on the card had a whole story.
Yeah.
And that's what made wrestling better back then, in my opinion.
I mean, and like we saw the episode because Undertaker had been gone for a while. He was like gone for like a month. He went to Disney World. I don't know. He took a vacation and then he came back, and that promo was so fucking cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but it was really great. It was fantastic. Like the lightning hit the fucking thing, and
I used to love when the lightning used to strike like that.
But so I don't know. I'm not trying to take up anybody's time. I'm new.
No, welcome in, and I'm happy that you've discovered your love for pro wrestling, and look forward to more calls from you in here.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You have a great day.
Y'all have a good one.
You too, guys. Bye.
Bye.
What a nice woman.
Yeah, it's nice when people find wrestling or they re-find wrestling. Like, I was in that boat. Like, I refound wrestling again, and it's just so nostalgic that and like people are like, why do adults love wrestling? Like, I people forget like sometimes that nostalgia is the biggest drug that there is, you know, and it just takes you back to a time where you had no bills, you had no the only priorities you had were to be in front of the TV 8 o'clock at night and watch Stone Cold and The Rock wrestle,
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely. Let's do we'll do one more caller to end before we end the day. Did we have Jesus Cruz on before or no?
I don't think so, big guy.
Let me take Jesus here. Let's see. Jesus, welcome to the Ryback Show. How you doing?
Hello?
Hey, Jesus.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, just being funny real quick. It would have been funny. I was waiting for Shawnee, especially. I thought he was going to come out with it when I asked how's it hanging, and he was going to be like, oh, hanging long.
I did. I said hanging low into the floor. You didn't hear me, bro?
No, I didn't catch it.
Oh my God! Yeah, she. I didn't realize it was a girl.
I knew it right away. That's why I didn't say anything. I thought I was like, oh, let Shawnee figure that one out.
After she said it, I was like, oh my God, that was a female.
I knew that wasn't Todd right away. I knew that was I was like, I could hear the sound. Maybe your sound wasn't as good on your end. I was like, I don't know if I would have answered that way, Shawnee, but I was like, hey, each their own.
I heard the silence, and it was so loud and silent.
Yeah, I knew right away. I was like, oh, I was like, oh, Shawnee's feeling it. Todd's over there driving, like, what did you just say to my girlfriend? Sorry, Todd, it wasn't me.
Tucker, sorry, Tucker.
All of a sudden you hear Shawnee go, hey, what's up, Todd? I want to get you guys' opinion, because what do you think WWE has planned with Roman Reigns now? Like, you think he's done? You think he's going to eventually come? Like, what do you guys think?
It seems like my guess would be with the Bloodline continuation and then the new members and Paul Heyman being affiliated with them, that Roman's probably going to be enjoying a lot of time off, and we could be getting close to the end of his career, depending on with his health and everything, and even though he's not that old, but he's had an amazing run, or at the very least taken some significant time off. Maybe this is the final piece in the storyline of wrapping up. Maybe they're going to try to do something with Rock and Roman next year at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They're very WWE. If they want to do something, they're going to find a way to get it done. They wanted to do Rock versus Roman, right? They want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's on their board. So now what they have to do is find a creative way to get there, that where fans like they like to get the last laugh. So fans rejected their main event pay-per-view idea this year. So what are they going to do? They're going to make it such a good storyline and develop it. And with Rock probably going to come back at some point. My guess is maybe next year to WrestleMania or something, but Roman's probably going to have a babyface return, and where we're going to finally get that match. And it's probably going to be like, everyone's going to be hyped for it because it's going to be presented in a different way than it was this year. So
I was thinking, I was like, because with the whole Solo thing going on, they're making Solo look like a real bad guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if they're doing that so that way they could bring Roman back as a babyface? You know what I mean?
That's what I see in Roman. Time away, he is going to get a babyface pop on his return. I don't see it any other way. And the fact that they would have just kind of like done away with the bloodline had they not had any plans with this going forward. So they've got something in the works with all this, my opinion, based off what I've seen and know. So,
and then I also feel like for next WrestleMania, I feel like if they build the story right, and obviously if Cody was to hold the belt that long, I feel like that the main event for that, like the money maker for that one, would be like a Randy Orton versus Cody if they were to hold it all the way to WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It
could be, yeah. That one could be very big if they time that perfectly. Yeah. I agree. I think Randy Cody is money when they are ready to get into that, and they don't need to rush that at all. That one, which leads to, if Cody holds the title to WrestleMania next year, it'd be interesting to see if they let Orton win the Royal Rumble and kind of let that be the trigger to all of that. We'll have to see how they go into it when they eventually do. But I think that's definitely on the goal. That's definitely on their board of storylines for Cody.
I don't know if anybody caught this, but around WrestleMania, I heard it slip that they said Roman has, I don't know if he has the leukemia back or something, but I heard something about that. So I my guess, I don't know if he does for sure, but I heard them mention it.
Well, it was in remission. It's always in remission, right? That it's never just goes away. So just with that, his history of that, and in his career already, he's had an outstanding career in the long championship reign. They're really, he doesn't need to be around for the next 20 years, and he has a family. Exactly. I think he's made more than enough money. I think he's ready. We could be seeing, or a much more limited schedule at the very least. Maybe he does the WrestleMania like the Undertaker once a year.
Exactly.
I love that. I think that's a great thing. And
something I read on yesterday, because I was wondering. Obviously, Google is the worst place to search for anything. You know what I mean? But I was just like, let me give it a shot. And one Reddit post I read, which again, it's Reddit. Anybody's gonna say anything. There's no facts in it. But one person had said that the reason why WWE gave him the belt for so long was because they didn't know what to do with him without the belt, and then it got to a point where it was just like, okay, well, he can't just lose it to anybody now. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then they said that he is taking a break, and he also has an acting gig going on at the moment.
Yeah, no, we'll have to see. I don't know if I would trust Reddit over Google. But I think Google there's a lot of factual information depending on where you look on whatnot. But I don't know if I would say I don't know if I would go to Reddit for any of my wrestling information. That's just me personally. With what people could.
Do I think that he's going to become an actor one day? I would bet my bottom dollar that he goes into some sort of role in acting for sure. Just seeing how his how The Rock did it, I believe that he wants to follow.
He's talented enough to do it, and he has a great look, and he could definitely.
Yeah. Did he have one part in a movie with The Rock? I think it was Hobbs and Shaw or something like that.
Yeah, he's done something already. He's already done something. But he's got a good build too, and he is actually, because he, as big as he is, he actually can slim down. Even he can have a more slender look that Hollywood typically likes. He's not like he's a big guy, but he's a slender guy too at the same time. Like he's not like overly developed, even though he was in great shape for WrestleMania. He's not like overly bulky. Rock was a lot bulkier. Like Roman has a more like slender figure by just genetic wise. So like I could see that transition being very, very being not as difficult for him, especially with Rock's connections. And we'll have to see. Man, I can't tell you, Roman's a great dude, man. He's a hard worker. He deserves everything he's ever gotten, and like I'm happy that he's whatever he does. Guys don't need to be there every day. He doesn't. I'm happy. He put his time in already. He let him enjoy his life while he's young, and it's he's a cool dude, man. He's like you'll never hear me say a bad thing about that guy.
Talking about slimming down, though, one person who surprised me a lot that I'm just like, what the hell, was Chris Masters. I feel like he lost a lot of body mass.
No, I think Chris. So Chris looks one. He's getting older. I've seen it like things, and he's still wrestling and working. But that was back. He was, WWE before the wellness policy with that, and he was one of the people that it took a big hit from that when he stopped doing that with everything. And I think he's smart. He never went back to it, as far as I could tell, or not that I know of. Not to say he couldn't still be doing some stuff. I don't know. But he never looked. He was never as big as he was in WWE when he was initially Chris Masters out after the wellness policy. And I think you can't compare somebody what they look like and I don't know how much he used or abused them either. Right, but he was definitely much bigger like on that. But he's got great genetics. He's in great shape. He's still cut. But oftentimes people compare you to what you look like. And so you kind of like, what your initial image of him is, he was this 275, 80, 85 pound, monster. And then now he's like, even though he's still muscular and in shape and lean, I think he's just much healthier with it. And he hasn't gone back to it because he's smart. And like, I don't think he ever should with it. But like that a lot, it's tough because being in shape is a weird thing, man. People too like compare you to other people that are taking massive amounts of steroids, and like they're like, well, you're not as in good a shape, but they're comparing you to like somebody. You're like, well, of course not. Like with it, and so it's just weird. But people base being in good shape off like Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's still in great shape, by the way. Everybody will body shame, or not everybody. That portion of people like that body shame Chris. The guy, in any walk of life, looks amazing, especially for his age and the history of his injuries with everything and the length of his career. But like they're comparing him to when he like if he was like 20 pounds leaner and that, but like he still looks great. He's not like, is he as in good a shape as he was like 20 pounds ago or whatever, or a year ago or 2 years? Maybe not, but like he's still in great shape. Like with it, it's like it's weird how people body shame others on the looks, but like wrestlers, it's what it is. You're out there wrestling in like trunks or like very little, and
it's very unforgiving, right?
Yeah, but like if people don't understand how good of shape you have to be in to put on a pair of trunks and just look like halfway presentable, like if you like have any body fat on you, you put on a pair of trunks, like go get a Speedo, order a Speedo. I want everybody. This is what I want. I want every guy that listens to the Ryback show to go order a Speedo on Amazon and go put it on and go look and stand in front of the mirror and take a picture and post. What?
Shawnee will get first place.
Shawnee's already done it. Shawnee already knows what I'm talking about.
Actually, I'm posting the picture right now. If you guys want to go see it, it's going to be on the comments section of this post right here. But yes, I've done it, and it's very unforgiving,
brother. But people don't understand like that stuff digging into you. It's not like putting on a pair of boxers or shorts. Like trunks dig into you. So like if you have any body fat or anything or people too, wrestlers, like you're breathing heavy out there. So like you got to belly breathe and like you can't keep your stomach like flexed the whole time. You'll pass out. Like you have to breathe and relax. Like and then you have to like normal human functions of the body. You've got to breathe and get oxygen. But people will looking like, oh my God, you're so out of shape. But it's like a pose of you like taking a step and breathing out at the same time. Like with it, it's like, oh my God, people don't understand the human body. Like that you don't look just like pro bodybuilders, like that are on all the drugs in the world. Like you guys are seeing like images of them all done up on like an airbrushed and photoshopped on different things. Like see them in person and you'll be like, see how the body will fluctuate from when you're flexing or not flexing. Like it's a real thing. But like a lot of people don't understand that. They just have no concept. But they're usually the most judgmental on people's physiques. I'm like, pretty much anybody out there in a pair of tights is in pretty solid shape. So
yeah, he's a better guy than me, man. If I had his money and I had his career, I would be somewhere in the Galapagos Islands with butt naked on the beach with like 20 women around me.
Oh man.
Thanks for calling in.
Hey Zeus, thank you, brother, man. Look forward to more calls.
All right, brother. Take care, guys.
Take care. Good deal. What a fun show this week.
I know this is a great show, and the fact that he didn't know about the Speedo picture, he's about to learn.
He's gonna know really quickly.
He's about to learn.
Hey Zeus, you get ready, brother. Shawnee doesn't hold back. Don't call him the big sausage for nothing.
But great show, big guy. I'll see you on TikTok later, and make sure everybody comes watches the battles today. What time are you getting on? 4 o'clock?
No, 1:05 Pacific time. My account gets free, so I'm going on at 1:06 p.m. Pacific.
Awesome. That's so 4:06 Eastern, guys.
Yep,
So
3:06 Central, 1:06 Pacific.
Yeah, everybody come check out Ryback on YouTube, on TikTok, and the battles, and it's always a great time. But thanks for having me on again, big guy.
Always, Shawnee.
I always love doing it, and I'll see you at 4 o'clock.
And what's your TikTok for people? You're on TikTok as well on there. So.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I started battling. I had my first setup battle last night, big guy. I actually I lost, but we scored 30,000 points.
Wow, that is great, man.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I had 30 people in there, and
there you go.
I've been going live every day. People don't realize how hard it is to hit the live button, and and I've been doing it every day for like 2 hours. So I'm gonna work my way into it, like 2 hours for a couple weeks, then go to 4 hours, and then do it like that.
Brother, you're doing it. That's what they just got to jump. I tell people it's a great building your own community and. Like with that, and just imagine you keep doing that where you're at in 1 year from now.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a beautiful thing.
I was thinking, So everybody, it's at Shawnee Caulfield, SeanyCaufield on TikTok, and thank you everybody for listening and watching. We appreciate you all.
Shawnee, thank you for calling in as always, brother. I appreciate you very much.
Same here, brother.
All right, have a good one, Shawnee. Good deal, you guys. Big Sausage Shawnee calling in. Always a good time. Thank you to everybody, guys, on the X Spaces. We're still not getting the views on X Spaces on that with the show while it's live with that. But thank you guys every week, guys, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Tell a friend, share the post out. That's why I started doing the set time to try to overcome whatever this is going on, the disconnection from my following. It's a real thing, but it's we don't stop. We keep going. I'd rather have 11 people in my X Spaces than no people with that by not doing it. And so you take action. And we got a lot of people on YouTube today on the backup, even on the backup on the Feed Me More Nutrition account. We had a couple 2,500. We usually do about 20, 30K on the main account, but better than nothing. That's better than no people, right? So and we get great views everywhere else. So thank you guys that tune in every week. And check out Feed Me More Nutrition, feedmemore.com for the best supplements on the planet. Save 20%, discount code TikTok20, YouTube20, guys, on feedmemore.com. All the Ryback merch, workout accessories, drinkware, ball caps, and the best supplements on the planet. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. We always go live, guys, on the podcast platforms. This show will be out in about 30, 40 minutes. If you want to go back and listen to past archives of the shows, they're all available, guys, on any podcast platform, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, with that. So, guys, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Be safe, you guys. I'm going to watch some UFC tonight, rooting for Dustin here, the Diamond, see if he can get this big win on another championship matchup, and should be a good time. But we'll be back next week, guys, and I'll be on TikTok here at 1:05 Pacific time. today. So join me over on my TikTok live every day, 3 to 4 p.m. Most days, though, on TikTok at Ryback as well. Have a great one, you guys. Until next time, Rybackers, stay hungry. And that's the last bite. Feed me more.
Hey Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications. For the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch, visit feedmemore.com.